Garcia.
And I'm Rhonda Solis.
And we're Latino Northern Colorado.
Welcome back to the Latino Northern Colorado podcast. Today we have a very special guest with us, Mäe Sandberg, on Outreach and Engagement Manager on behalf of the All of Us Research Program, a National Institutes of Health initiative. Mäe, welcome back and thanks so much for being here today. Can you tell us a little bit about All of Us?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, guys. It's always great to be back with you and share some time with you both. So the All of Us Research Program is a historical data effort that aims to be inclusive of people's communities that have been underrepresented in biomedical research. The goal is to build a comprehensive database from participant volunteers across the United States. Colorado has been identified as an area that has been vastly underrepresented to help scientists learn more about how medicine can be more effective to each and every one of us as individuals, considering things like our environment, our lifestyle, and our biology. So this program appreciates everyone's uniqueness, and it is open and welcoming of all voices to be heard and, matter within the future of medicine.
Well, as you know, we think this is fantastic. We've had you on a few different times, and I understand that the program is doing some stuff around COVID-19 related research as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So the program is involved with a couple of different COVID-19 research activities. So the first one is antibody testing, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And the second one is, sharing our participants' electronic health records. In other words, their digital medical charts.
And there's recently been some interesting news surrounding the antibody testing. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So in June of this year, we reported findings on a study we conducted where we analyzed 24,000 blood samples from our program's participants across all 50 states between the ranges of January 2nd through March 18 of 2020. And what we learned resulted in a new and really interesting evidence of early COVID-19 infections in the United States. So for example, we detected COVID-19 antibodies using 2 different serology tests in 9 participant samples. Most interesting was that these participants were outside of those major urban hotspots of like Seattle and New York City, which we believed were like the key point of entry for the virus in the United States. The positive samples came in as early as January 7th from participants in Illinois, Massachusetts, Mississippi, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. And most positive samples were collected prior to the first reported cases in those particular states. And really what this does, it demonstrates the importance of expanding testing as quickly as possible during an epidemic.
This is just like mind-blowing information. Right? And I mean, I guess my follow-up question to this is like, were you surprised at the earliest positive samples and that they were from like Illinois and Massachusetts?
Yeah, or Wisconsin, right? Like we were very surprised. We tend to believe that the major urban areas are the hotspots. So it was really interesting for the data to show us otherwise. We like to be surprised by data. Also interesting were our earliest date of January 7th, almost 2 months before that March quarantine.
Now, Mäe, let me ask you, have you or your family been affected by COVID-19? And what does being a part of advancing COVID-19 research mean to you personally?
Well, advancing efforts of diversity, equity, inclusion are my personal and professional passions. Yes, we have been affected by COVID-19. And then research for me and my community, the Latinx and Hispano community, and as a woman, I've been underrepresented in biomedical research. So during the pandemic, I learned that we, the Latinx and Hispano community, we had a contraction and mortality rate from COVID-19 that was 3 times higher. So I was especially motivated to keep us healthy. So for example, our kids, we kept them home, right? Until they were able to return to a hybrid schedule. And, here in the school, we followed our local and state and national CDC guidelines, right? But even so, our youngest child contracted COVID, but they were asymptomatic and they had no fever, no cough, really no indication of being sick. They were still running around the house. So when we got that call from the school, we were so grateful that they told us like, hey, you need to get your child tested because they were, with a school member that has tested positive for COVID. So sure enough, we went and we got them tested and they were positive. And, we thought we had taken like all the precautions. And of course, once we found out they were, positive, we quarantined them. We have a blended family, so they quarantined with their mom. And, we tested ourselves and we were negative. So it was a really close call, but we experienced in our household firsthand what it's like to be with a person who's asymptomatic, but carrying COVID.
It truly is amazing how little we still know about this entire disease and how like different the effects can be from one person to the next. I know some folks have, severe symptoms and other folks just really kind of glide through it. I mean, it's so interesting. And, being part of finding the answers to those questions is definitely one of the things that would persuade me to join this program. How else would we want to join, or why else would we want to join?
Well, I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, every human being on this planet is important. They're important to their family. They're important to their friends, to their community. And, everyone matters. And I know that, sometimes we don't think about medical research. Maybe we weren't invited or we never considered medical research. But I think the pandemic has made us all kind of focus on our health. And I believe like now more than ever, we really need to do our part, kind of risk vulnerability. I know it's hard for some of our communities, especially our community, as well as other minority communities, to trust, right? A research initiative, share our information. But, it's really, we're asking people to risk that vulnerability to help ourselves, our children, and our grandchildren. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys, I work for the program, but, even then I was still like, I need to learn more. Like, is this really all it's meant to be? And it is. I am the first person in my family that has ever, participated in medical research. We never talk about our health in that way. Both sides of my family are super private about their health, right? Both my Jewish side and my Mexican side. And, we grew up not really talking about our health. Grandma has this or grandpa has that. But I never really considered, well, if they have it, that means that maybe I might have it. And if I have it, then maybe my kids will have it. So I paid for my DNA to be analyzed, and to try to learn about my health. I wish I would have known that this program was free. So I'm participating in the All of This research program. It's a little slower, of course, than like your paid ones because it goes based on batches and, when scientists need information from certain people, but it's still free. So, I just really love that everything I learn about my health is shared with me. And also you get to learn about what you can report to your family and be proactive about your health. It doesn't cost anything but your time. And again, to have the courage to join, medical research.
That's so true, Mae. And obviously, COVID's not going away. We're still having to deal with it. So those are really important points. Tell us how we can join.
Yeah, so there's actually two ways, super easy. So the first one is, well, I should start with number one, consider, is this something that you want to be a part of? Do you want to learn about your health? Does it matter? And if the answer is yes, by all means, you can go to our website at joinallofus.com/connect. I encourage you to go to the site first for a few reasons. It's hard for me to share all the wonderful things that are going on with the program in a short amount of time. There we have like frequently asked questions. We have the site in English and Spanish if you want to share it with a family member. And you don't have to consent to share your electronic health records just yet. If you start there, you can kind of build up. The second way is to, download our app at that Google Play or Apple App Store. It's called All of Us. And you want to pick the one with the all white background created by Care Evolution. the whole process is super interactive and informative. There's some videos, we don't do those terms and conditions that are like 6 pages long. Like we show you a video and then we ask you, yeah. And then we ask you, did you hear what we said? And you're like, yes, wait, no, let me go back and listen to that. So give yourself some time. And we know, like, again, we're trying to earn back the trust of community. So that's why we're not like fast forwarding and saying, just say yes and we'll deal with it later. No, absolutely take your time. Dedicate some time to go through this. It might take you an hour, but wherever you stop, if life happens, you can always come back and pick up where you left off.
And, we talked about this in one of our previous episodes as well, is that like, I'm more one of those like, okay, let's move forward, let's go ahead. And Rhonda's one of those that like actually reads everything and like pays attention. I'm like, check my P, and she's just like, let's go forward with it. And she's like, no, let's go back and let's figure it out. And so I think like it's important to know that like those are two, I guess, viewpoints and opportunities for folks to say like, I can go slower or I can go faster.
Yes.
And depending on how quickly I want to go, like I get to choose.
Well,
yeah, and you also get to, sorry, go ahead, Rhonda.
The drawback to the way I do it is I feel like I got really excited in the beginning. And so I started doing everything, but then I got sidetracked and then I haven't been going back. And so I almost kind of need that push from someone like Chris to really push me to get, to that next level. So I would definitely, put that into people's minds that sometimes people are excited, but we kind of need that nudge to keep going. So if you could do anything with that, that would be great for people like me.
Absolutely.
So I might even have to stick around after the interview and you can help me with that.
I would be more than happy to. I know that mine, and it's interesting, I signed up in Spanish, right? Just to kind of test the program. Like, is it really, being effective in communicating? So now they're like, hola, like, we're here. You still need to complete this. And I was like, oh, it's working. Okay. And of course,
yeah, I get the emails too.
I think I must have.
Okay.
I might need a text.
And I'm like, oh, okay, I need to go back and do that. So I'm guilty of that myself. Like, we're human, right? We have, and this is a longitudinal study. I should point that out. It's going to take 10 years or more. So the relationship that we have as participants with the program is meant to be like a long-term relationship. So we're going to have periods when we're super excited about the program, and then we'll have some periods where we kind of forget. But I hope that, when we send out those reminders like, hey, we're still here. Has anything changed? Have you lost weight? Have you moved to a different city? I know. If you're like me, I'm like, no, please stop asking. I'm trying my very best. Okay. It's the holidays.
Just take that question out.
Yeah,
exactly. I was like, I think it just says,
do you feel good?
Changed? And I'm like,
yes, girl. Well, Mäe, as we talk about this relationship and how it's a continuous relationship, I hear that the All of Us research program is coming to Denver. Is that right? When is it coming? Can you tell us a little bit more?
Yes, so we're super, super excited. We're actually coming to Colorado as well as Colorado Springs. The All of Us research program and the NIH has given us the green light to resume our All of Us journey. And this is an opportunity to learn more about the program in person. Now, I do want to make sure I disclose that, of course, because of COVID, our mobile engagement clinic is taking all precautions to help keep themselves, our team, as well as those who visit, keep them safe and healthy, and the experience complies with all CDC guidelines for open air events, and I mean, I would be happy to show you guys what that looked like before COVID. Do you think we could run a quick video about that?
Sure.
Of course, yeah.
Awesome. much for sharing that video. So the dates for our time in the state of Colorado are actually August 8th through the 14th will be in Colorado Springs. And then August 15th through the 21st, we will be in Denver. So we're really, really excited to be there.
We'll have to go do a podcast.
Yeah.
That would
You'll
be
have to
great.
let us know, exactly when and where, and maybe we could do a live from the location. So that would be great.
Absolutely. We're currently talking to a few partners in those cities to figure out like where we can park. And, we're going to do a lot of promotion. Hopefully, if we get things right, it'll be a fun time, right? We hope to have food trucks, the media there, radio and podcasts. So you are always welcome to join us. And in fact, we would love to have you.
Well, if you're having food trucks, definitely don't ask that weight loss question.
Right.
Yes.
Just like let that one go.
Yeah. It's been a tough couple of years.
Yeah.
I know. Maybe we could make it something
COVID
healthy.
35 just.
But yeah, it was COVID 25, but now I think it's COVID 35. It just keeps
For
increasing.
some of us.
Well, thank you again, Mäe, for connecting with us today. We love hearing about all the updates and how we can continue to be involved. And to our audience, as always, thank you for watching and listening. And remember to join our conversation online via Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn at Latino Northern Colorado, or email us at latinonoco@gmail.com. Until next time, Latino NoCo signing off.